Imagine you just scrolling through New York City, you look to your right, and a Jewish dude is just spawning out of the ground.
So being that I'm one of the founding fathers of this operation called Expanding 770, I'll explain you why this happened. First of all, let's start from the beginning. About 15 years ago, I was a student in 770, and we're very religious, ultra-Orthodox Hasidim, and we're studying what the Rebbe, the leader of the Jewish people, and the leader of the Hasidic movement, is teaching. And one of the stuff that we learn is called Kuntras Beis Rabbeinu Sheba'Bavel, which is a speech that the Rebbe spoke about the significance of the synagogue and how the synagogue is similar to the temple and how it has a very special holiness, and even in the time of exile it has a special holiness. The Rebbe went on to say that whoever donates money or helps with his physical body to build or to expand a synagogue is a great, great mitzvah, it's a great, great commandment. Now, of course, in a regular, normal world, then people fundraise money, and the community, whoever has an interest that the synagogue should be expanded, and they give it to the owner of the synagogue or the gaboim, which means the rabbis that are in charge, and the 770, the synagogue is expanded. But because there's a lot of politics in 770, one guy, Rabbi Krinsky, he has the deed or the ownership technically, but he's never stepped foot in 770 in the last, 20 years. For political reasons. And another group, which is the Gaboim, which actually manage the synagogue, they're the ones who are physically in charge of 770. But they're fighting. The guy who owns the synagogue and the guys who run the synagogue are fighting. Now, to add more complexity, there's another group, which is the community VAD, which is the community group, and they don't get along necessarily. They have their own agendas. They don't necessarily get along with Krinsky or with the Gaboim. They have their own agendas and their own issues. On top of that, you have another group, which is the Hanhala of the yeshiva. So there's also a university, a kind of yeshiva study hall going on in this place. And to top that off, the study hall is divided by locals, like American students that are learning smicha, which is to become rabbis. And then you have other groups which are from all over the world, from Australia, from Israel, from all over the world, and they're doing kvutza, which is at least 1 year in the Rebbe's holy synagogue. So there's a lot of moving parts, and unfortunately the situation has become bitterly political, so much so that hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Crown Heights community in Brooklyn was thrown towards building 770 and expanding it. The Rebbe gave his blessing. The Rebbe even came out and put the cornerstone and so on. There was even very rich people that gave a lot of money and were ready to do the whole thing. And we even had David Chase from Chase Banks came and gave a few $1,000,000. And they did do a lot of expansion, but they didn't do the whole plan. Now, I can tell you already, 40 years ago, this synagogue could have needed to be expanded. And all the properties are actually owned by Hasidim, which follow the Rebbe and don't really have a problem to figure out some kind of way to make 770 expand. But unfortunately, there was missing one ingredient. The guy who can bring all these moving parts together, sit them down on a table and expand and create some kind of a plan how they can all benefit. If the synagogue is bigger, you can bring in more students. If you can bring in more students, you can get more benefits from the government. You can sign up more students. You can put more vending machines, I guess. You can make it into a business of sorts. Maybe you can rent out rent it out for halls for festival events. And also, of course, there's a spiritual element, which is more people will be able to pray, more people will be able to study, and of course, it's a great thing to study Torah. So, in a normal situation, these groups would be sitting around figuring out how to expand 770. Unfortunately, nobody cared about expanding 770. Everybody had a little bit that was working perfect just fine for them. The only ones who were really, really bothered and the ones who suffered the most were the actual students who need to sit all crammed together studying. So the students, especially during the corona, they shut down 770 because we're listening to the mandates, all the official bodies, and the students still wanted to study in the big main hall and not study in their dorm rooms or whatever. So the students started, and now I already back in the day, my name is Yosef EDERY, and I already back in the day, about 15 years ago, already started this kind of idea. There's a few abandoned buildings. There's nothing going on there. Anyhow, there's a old mikveh, which is a ritual bath on the corner of Union and Kingston Avenue. So you have Eastern Parkway is here, Kingston Avenue is here, and then you have Union Street is here. So if the expansion would be done properly, it would be all the way from Eastern Parkway all the way to Union, along Kingston Avenue. So you have the main synagogue is next to Eastern Parkway. After that, you have like a tunnel basement, which is used for the holy writings that need to be buried. And then you have another basement, like, one of those two doors that open up in New York. You see a lot of them. So then the second basement is where very special things like the menorah of 770 is held and other things like that. And then you have the next basement is the ritual bath, which was closed down some 20 years ago anyway. So the students dug a tunnel during the corona all the way from Union through the two basements and coming out, I guess, all the way to 770. So that way, during the corona, they were able to. So I started this operation. I was involved with it for some years. We didn't really have very heavy machinery or anything. We just kind of were moving bricks apart and trying to just see what we can do. We really didn't. But later, one of my friends called me and said, "Hey, Yossi, remember the operation you started?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, we got some." We got some good, things are moving in the direction of expanding 770. So I was very, very proud of them, and very happy to hear what they said. Of course, the situation is so heavily political in the area that it's just I really hope that the community will wake up and realize that this synagogue needs to be expanded, and they should see it as a good opportunity to take that initiative. And really, the students don't do no harm. Okay, the most extreme thing a Chabad student will do is put a sticker on a Mashiach sticker, or wave a Mashiach flag, or ask someone to pray on Friday, give out 7 laws of Noah cards with the picture of the Rebbe. But they're not, of course, we're just dealing with the war in Israel, Hamas digging tunnels, But honestly, they just want more room to learn and study. Of course, the way it played out, cops coming in, the community leaders, the Jewish community leaders, bringing the cops into 770, telling them to arrest students or whatever. It's kind of embarrassing that the community can't get its own act together, and this has to break news all over the world. But the fact of the matter is that the students need more room to pray, and let's hope that that should be the outcome. And 770 is a great place. I myself sat down with people, non-Jewish people, our black brethren in Crown Heights. I brought them in, gave them a kippah. I'm wearing my hat, so I gave them my kippah. We sat down, we studied the 7 laws of Noah, made a small prayer. Really, 770 is open 24/7. The homeless sleep in the back. I mean, it's a place of charity, it's a place of Torah study, it's a place of prayer, and really, it should be seen for what it's worth. It's a great thing. Of course, management, the older generation, all this politics. But at the end of the day, I really hope that the right minds can come. The smart people in the community will be able to create a unity, just like in Israel now. We're all united for the war effort, and we're putting our political issues aside. Hopefully, the community leaders, Rabbi Krinsky and Rabbi Kratz, and all the other community leaders can sit down with the students and say, "Look, you guys, of course, you maybe didn't do it in the right way. You didn't pay $500,000 in U.S. permits to just scratch the wall. You have to have a permit, right, in New York City. But you guys meant well. We're going to take it from here, and we're going to do it professionally. And hopefully, in a very short amount of time, maybe they can bring some Chinese workers in to do a quick job and expand 770. I think it is a blessed thing. So l'chaim, mazel tov on the expansion of 770. May we only hear good news and positive news, and may it all work out. All the best.